Well, I love this book. Active Hope, How to Face the Mess We're In with Unexpected Resilience and Creative Power. It may be the last book I write in this generous lifetime of mine, but I am thrilled with this. It has seemed to put all my love for the world and my joy in taking action over these last 6 decades of work for the people of this planet. And all of that love pours into this book, and my gratitude for writing it with Johnstone.
Active Hope helps us find our best response to concerns about the world. It recognizes that each of us has a role to play, but also it can be hard to find what that role is. It can be hard even to face the challenges ahead of us. And so what this book does is it takes us on a strengthening, transformative journey that helps us find our part to play, helps us reclaim a sense of possibility, and also open to a wider network of resources that help us play our part.
There has been no other time, I believe, in the history of humanity when we face greater challenges than now. Given our war-making capacity and our destruction and the out of balance of our natural world and the climate catastrophes waiting. This is such a great need. That's the mess we're in. It's also that we are at each other's throats in so many ways, feeling both aggressive and intimidated, puzzled, confused, and frankly, giving up. That's the mess we're in, and it's totally something that we can address. And it's been a joy to deal with how we don't need to be stopped. There is nothing inherent. We have the capacity to release our own intelligence and passionate caring, and to have access to all that we need to know to steps and how to reach out and open up to other people to work together. We're not going to take step one without being able to work together.
When there's an emergency, there's different roles that you can play in relation to that. And one role that can be agonizing is of a bystander, where you feel there's nothing you can do, where you see the horror. It's like if you witness a car crash and you feel like, what can I do? That sense of powerlessness it's a horrible feeling. But there's another role too. When you're a responder to an emergency, it can be something that leaves you feeling more alive. It's like something gets activated inside of you. There's something about stepping up, rising to the occasion, finding our best self in response to a disaster. And that's the kind of, when we can find that role, we may not fix it, but we know that we've really shown up in our best way. And that's what makes our lives more satisfying.
To make a difference in our world, we have to be ready to look at what isn't working. We have to be able to look at failure. We have to be willing to look at what hurts. And we're afraid to do that as a culture. We need to learn to be with what fails, to be with what hurts, to be with suffering, our own suffering and others. Until we're able to do that, we're half blind. Active hope would not be very active, and it would not be very hopeful if we were afraid to see the suffering of our world. To open to that and to open to the inner pain releases what takes our hands off the brakes, releases our capacity to respond, brings us back to life. We come back to life when we see and feel in our body our humanity, and we can't feel our connections with each other and our common humanity if we're afraid of pain, because our world is in trouble. And we got to be ready to be with the trouble. We have to be willing to even admit we're troubled. This is the path. All wisdom traditions, all religions recognize this, and all therapies do as well.
What I most hope readers will take away from Active Hope is a sense of possibility. That sense of, what if? What if I were to do things this way rather than that way? What if each day I was to think, okay, what would Active Hope look like today? What would the great turning look like today if I was to bring that into my life? So one is a sense of possibility, but also with that is encouragement. Encouragement to just kind of take those steps in terms of finding and moving forward our role. And then lastly, the third thing I really hope people will take away from this book is practical pointers. We've included the best of what we found useful in responding to that question, what can I do about my concerns about the world? There's practical pointers, there's practical practices, things we can engage in on a regular basis that strengthen us, that nourish our capacity to show up and play our part.